Welcome to the Degenerate Dillon podcast, where Dillon has you covered with everything from spreads to futures to prop bets. Follow him every weekday as we pick daily best bets using stats, analytics, and a little bit of luck. Now here's your host, Degenerate Dillon himself, Dillon Nelson.
Hey everybody, welcome into a Wednesday episode of Degenerate Dillon podcast, Degenerate Show. If you're watching us on YouTube, I'd appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing every day, if you've hit the subscribe button and followed us on Facebook, I really appreciate y'all. We did another good night last night of 2 out of 3 on our picks. Thought it was going to be 3 out of 3. I was almost positive that Duke was going to cover that 7 points that was given, but Notre Dame had their best shooting game of the season. Of course, when we bet on them, they have their best shooting game of the season, and that is what happened last night at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke turned the ball over 12 times last night in the game. Notre Dame only turned the ball over 7 times. I know we talked yesterday about how Notre Dame doesn't turn the ball over very often at 10 a game, but they don't force very many at 7. I thought that was going to be a big key to the game. If Notre Dame could force the young players at Duke to turning over the ball, this could be a different game than what we picked, and that's what happened. Duke turned over the ball 12 times yesterday against the Fighting Irish. And the Irish did what they could with the turnover, shooting 48% from deep, going 10 of 21. The starting 5 all scored in double digits. Cormac Ryan was their best player yesterday, scoring 24 points and grabbing 10 boards. It just seemed like Notre Dame. It was just their day. That's really just what it was. Notre Dame had a good day, and unfortunately for us, we bet on it. It happens. That's the gambling world. That's what happens. You bet money, and sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that's what happened yesterday. Our second game of the day, which we won. Thankfully, we took the morning line on this Arkansas Kentucky game because the line actually moved up to Arkansas, favored by 1 at game time. We took it in the morning when it was a pick'em game, so we took Arkansas money line in this game early in the morning. The final score was 81-80. If you follow the show and you picked a little late and grabbed Arkansas -1, I'm sorry. At least you got your money back, but we did not make any profit. Fortunately for me, I did take it early in the day when it was a pick'em and won and covered in this game. Arkansas was leading most of the game, and it really in the second half it got to an 11-point lead, I believe, 11 or 10-point lead, and it wasn't much of a game. And then Kentucky's Oscar Sarr, I believe is his name. He's their big man. He went off and shot about 3 or 4 threes in a row, and just got them back in the game. And so it was a really close game late. Arkansas got lucky, got a foul call with 4 seconds left. Shot a couple of clutch free throws from Jalen Tate and won the game. But thankful for us, we covered. Like I said, if you didn't take it when it was a pick'em, I'm sorry. It sucks. How the train rolls, but we will count that as a win on the show because I took it in the morning when it was a pick'em. Third game of the day, West Virginia beats Texas Tech and covers the +5.5 that they were given by Vegas. The key to this game, however, was not Derek Culver like we talked about yesterday. We discussed how Derek Culver, the 6'11", 240 forward there in West Virginia, was going to be the key to the game, because Texas Tech did not have a starter that was above 6'7", and really didn't have a player that played many minutes that was above 6'7". The story of this game, however, was West Virginia shooting 50% from beyond the arc and Texas Tech shooting 28% from the arc. Mac McClung had a really decent game for Texas Tech, scored 17 points, shot the ball decent. But however, they had a guy named Terrence Shannon who came off the bench yesterday, played significant minutes. I'm sure he does that all the time, but came off the bench yesterday, shot 3 of 14 from the field and 1 of 7 from deep. You can't take and miss that many shots and put your team in a position to win. You just can't. And West Virginia did all they could last night to take advantage of their missed shots, grab the boards, go on the other side of the court and score the basketball. And that's exactly what they did by beating Texas Tech. I know we talked about Texas Tech really wanting that game to try and get a 1 seed in March. And they very well could still. There's a lot of basketball left, but that game definitely did not help your resume to try and get a 1 seed. You're more than likely stuck at a 2 or 3 now. West Virginia is talking their way into a 2 or 3 seed by winning this game and playing stellar defense against a really good Texas Tech team. But we got this game right. We took West Virginia in the points, and West Virginia ended up winning this game and upsetting Texas Tech in Lubbock. So that is 2 out of 3 from yesterday's picks. We have been 2 out of 3 on our picks for 5 days in a row now. That's excellent for us. I'm doing a great job at studying these games, paying attention to the line movement and where the money's going, and we have had success so far. So we will move into our picks of the day segment. We got 3 college games again today. We will get back into the NBA action tomorrow. I usually do NBAs on Thursdays and Fridays and Mondays because most of the Mondays have college action too, but Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays usually are reserved for most of the good NBA games. Most of the good college games happen on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and some on Mondays. But mostly Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So on this Wednesday episode, we will cover 3 more college basketball games. First game is Rutgers visiting Iowa and Iowa City. Both of these teams are middle of the pack in the Big Ten standings. One is 7-6 and one is 7-5. So they're right there. They're literally right next to each other in the standings. Iowa, however, is hitting a 1-4 skid in their last 5 games. And on the other hand, Rutgers is hitting a 4-game winning streak in their last 4 games, but lost the one before that. The one they lost, which was 3 weeks ago, we bet on them, Rutgers, to beat Penn State. And, of course, we bet on them. And, of course, they played like crap, and they lost. And then they went on a 4-game winning streak right after that. So I've stayed away from Rutgers. But tonight, I'm not going to stay away. I like the way they're playing right now. The 4-game win streak has me intrigued. And Iowa's 1-4 in their last 5 also has me intrigued. I think Iowa wins this game, but I think that 6.5 line that Rutgers is given right now is enough points for me to take Rutgers and cover the line. I also like the total in this game is at 152. I like the overs when Iowa plays. They're probably the best scoring offense in college basketball with almost 88 points a game. Rutgers does play solid defense. They score 72 points a game and only allow 64. It's a great scoring margin to win ball games. But against an Iowa team that is probably the best offensive team and maybe one of the best shooting teams in the country, I see value at this 152 line. If you 152 divided by 2 is 76, just to make it easy on you. I think that both of these teams score over 76 points. I think this is a high scoring game. I think Rutgers covers your 6.5. But I think Iowa wins the game. I think this is in like an 88-84 kind of game. So I will take Rutgers plus the 6.5 in Iowa City against the Buckeyes. Lock that in. Next game is the lock of the century, folks. If there was ever a game, and it happens every now and then, where you get a game like this where you're like, wow, I've got to jump at the opportunity to put some money on this game. It is definitely Missouri visiting Ole Miss tonight. Missouri is the number 10 team in the country. They play great defense. They've shot the ball better the last few weeks. They just got done beating the number 1 team and the undefeated team in the SEC, Alabama, last weekend. They're coming riding off that win. This is the lock of the century, folks. Please, if you are gambling actively, put your whole wallet in this game tonight. The line is Ole Miss favored by 1. There's no way that Ole Miss beats Missouri tonight. I don't see it. They don't have a guy that can play with Pinion. They don't have a guy that can play with the big down there. They just don't. This Mizzou team is 4-2 on the road this year. There's a stat for you. It's just not going to happen. It's just one of those games you have to trust your gut, and you just know that it's going to happen. And Missouri is going to beat Ole Miss tonight, and they're going to make you some money if you put money on it. That is the lock of the night for me. Easy money. Third game of the day, Marquette against Villanova. I'm intrigued by this game. I know what you're thinking. Villanova. It's Villanova. They win national championships. They're a great basketball school. They're going to handle Marquette with ease. Well, maybe you're right, but 11 points, giving 11 points to Marquette seems like a lot to me. Marquette usually plays in some tight ball games against conference opponents. They went into overtime. They've lost 4 out of their last 5, but one of those games they went into overtime in, and 2 of those games were 1-possession losses. Villanova is one of the best teams in this conference, but I don't see Marquette losing by more than 11 to Villanova. I don't see that happening. Villanova has won 4 out of their last 5. They're number 5 team in the country. They're headed towards another number 1 seed. They do a great job in Villanova, don't get me wrong. But tonight, I like Marquette to keep this game within 11 points. I'm thinking somewhere around like a 79-71 final score, somewhere around that region. But we'll pay attention to that. Lock that pick in. That's our third pick of the day. We can touch base on a little bit of NBA action tonight if you guys want to. I don't know. I'm just Tuesdays and Wednesdays to me are kind of college basketball nights to me. But we can jump into some of the games. Toronto's favored by 5.5 against Washington. I'm taking Toronto on that line all day long. Washington is terrible. They're just awful. They don't know how to play basketball, apparently. They barely get through a game. I like Toronto to cover that 5.5. Charlotte plays Memphis tonight. Memphis is like we said the other day in the show. Memphis is just rigged with injuries right now. It's really bad for them. Charlotte, however, is playing great. LaMelo Ball is playing great for them. The line right here is Memphis favored by 4 because it's in Memphis. Take Charlotte to cover the 4 points. I think this is going to be a close game at the end of the game. Brooklyn continues to disappoint on the defensive side of the ball and actually disappointed last night on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to be without Kevin Durant again tonight. He's not back until Friday, but they can't seem to play defense. They play the Pacers tonight. They get a little bit of a break. The Pacers aren't the best team in the NBA. They're kind of a middle-of-the-pack team, especially without Victor Oladipo now. He's in Houston, but Brooklyn is favored by 2.5 here. I like Brooklyn to cover this points. And you know what? I might learn my lesson tonight. I might stop betting on Brooklyn, and the play might be the over. Who knows? But I like Brooklyn here at 2.5 to cover this line at home against the Pacers. Let's check the over in that game. The over, or the total in this game, is 234. Looks like 97% of the money is on the over, as it should be, because Brooklyn's been covering the over pretty frequently lately. They've got a good record against the over. But I'm not gonna mess with the over in this game. I'm gonna take the spread. I'm gonna take 2.5 in Brooklyn's favor, and we'll lock those in as our 3 NBA picks of the day. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in, man, for this Wednesday episode. It's only been we're keeping it around 15 minutes for y'all, so I don't waste a whole lot of your time. It's short and sweet. I just like getting in here, getting out, giving y'all some knowledge, giving y'all some of the best picks, I think, for the night. And we've been doing pretty good. So I thank you for listening to me. Thank you for trusting me. Hopefully we can ride our 2 to 3 nights and keep it to another 2 to 3. Who knows? Maybe a 3 out of 3. Maybe we'll get perfect tonight. Who knows? But thank you tuning in. I really appreciate it. That is it for me today. Y'all have a great day today. Take it easy.